everyone. My name is Paul, and I am a nerd who sometimes hates computers, but we won't talk about that right now. We will instead talk about the fact that you are here because you are lucky enough to be attending our September 2014 Practice Master Virtual User Group meeting, where today we will be talking about, today only, not next month, not last month, but this month, we are talking about the daily report in Practice Master. Mary Jo is going to talk to you about that because it is her favorite thing of all time. And I am going to talk to you about the new search box that was introduced with version 17.1 that lets you really zero in precisely on exactly what you're looking for when you've got that client screen up and you're looking through the list to try and find the right matter. But before that, we're going to point to this and say this is the GoToWebinar control panel. And if you are still looking at that, that might indicate that you are a new attendee of our virtual user group meetings, because everybody else knows what I'm about to tell you, that this button here that looks like an arrow pointing to the right, when clicked, will cause this thing to slide right off the right-hand side of your screen. And when that happens, this button will turn into one with an arrow that looks like it's pointing to the left, and clicking it again when it's pointing to the left will cause this to slide back into focus. Why would you want to do that? Everybody, hold on, I'll tell you. It's because you're shy and you have a question. If you have a question, you may type it here. You may remember to hit send. And Leanne, our humble, not worldly, but what's that word, Mary Jo? Cultured. Oh, she says she's not cultured either, but apparently there was a movie in the 80s called, what was that movie called, Mary Jo?
The Princess Bride.
The Princess Bride, that I have never heard of and everybody else has. So Leanne, our cultured and humble moderator, will recognize that you have typed a question. She will interrupt Mary Jo or myself at the exact opportune time, and she will ask your question on your behalf. Now, she will continue to watch this to make sure that you don't have other questions that are brought about by the question that we're answering for you, or that you're not frantically typing saying, no, I didn't mean that, I meant this. So if we head down the wrong path and answer the wrong question, or you have other questions that are brought up because of the way we're answering your question, just keep typing those follow-up questions here. Just keep remembering to hit send, and Leanne will just keep interrupting us until we get your question answered. Now, if you're not shy, and what's it been, Mary Jo, about half a year, maybe a year since we've had somebody do this, you may press this button here that looks like a hand with an arrow pointing upward in front of it. That means raise your hand. And when you raise your hand, Leanne, our cultured and humble moderator, will recognize that you have raised your hand. She will interrupt Mary Jo or myself at the opportune time, and she will unmute your microphone so that you can ask your own damn question. Now, that line, that channel of communication will remain open until we are done answering your question. So A, don't keep chewing on the Doritos that you're eating. B, don't yell at your assistant. And C, if you have more questions, keep asking them. That microphone will remain unmuted. So without any further ado, I'm going to press several magic buttons, several of them. And I'm going to get over here. And you know what, Mary Jo? You know what we did? She's thinking, what do you mean what we did? What you did? I closed up Practice Master.
Inconceivable.
Inconceivable. Apparently that's a line from the movie that I've never seen. But here we are, back in Practice Master, signed in as Ron, the attorney with manager privileges, like that would ever happen. And let's wait for it. Wait for it. We're going to get the sample data pop up here. Well, I'll let you deal with that, Mary Jo, when it comes up there. We'll get rid of that. We don't care about all of Ron's reminders. We are going to let Mary Jo have the floor and tell you all about the daily report. Mary Jo?
All right. So I like to get all of my calendar entries on one sheet. I can print out my tasks, my calendar, events, anything that I have to do for the day, including my comments, including my information of who I need to talk to, all on a 1 to 2 page report. And I don't want to do it in this graphical view because I don't have keyboard and mouse, Paul. Hello? I can't move.
Well, I guess.
I think I did once. Let's see.
Let me unmute, and I'll tell a lawyer joke while you're requesting keyboard and mouse.
I am.
So a lawyer, a priest, and a rabbi walk into a bar. Oh, sorry. Okay, you've got keyboard and mouse.
Oh, thank
we'll
goodness.
Tell that
thank
joke
goodness.
Later.
Okay, do I have it? I do not. Okay, there I go. Wait, nope. I do not. I do not. Hold on. This has been one of those days, guys. I don't know which one is me. I have no idea.
So while I'm doing this, should I tell them that a lawyer, a priest, and a rabbi? No, because I have to concentrate on this. Oh, see, you're moving your mouse now.
Am I moving?
Yeah, you are.
I've got it. Yes.
Congratulations.
Okay. Back to calendar. All right. So if I were looking at my calendar,
Don't.
What
I clicked something by mistake. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
Okay,
I'm going to mute myself and shut up now.
This is just like comical here. All right. So we are going to go back to the calendar. Here we go. All right. So if I'm looking at my calendar, and I usually look at mine in a weekly view, and I printed this. This is fine if I just want to get a quick overview of what I have to do today. What time are my appointments? What do I have to do? But if I want those details, and I don't want to have to worry about scrolling down or opening each one of these, I like to use the daily report. If you go to your reports tab, here is the daily report right out here on front. And there's some options in here that you can click and choose so that you can get a nice, clean, quick report with all of that detail that you want to do. So I can pick a date range. I can do just for today. I can do it for the week. I can do it for a month, whatever I want to do. I can do whose calendar I want to look at. So if I'm printing this for my attorney that I'm working for, or I'm an attorney and I need to print for my assistant, whatever this is, I can choose whose calendar I want to print. I can decide whether I want to include just the events, just the tasks, both. I can say whether I want the overdue tasks or any tasks with no due date, and I also can include the reminders. There are two places that reminders show up. This is one on the daily report, and the other is in the all-day area at the top of your graphical view of your calendar. So this is important because reminders are not your little alarms that pop up. Reminders are those dates that you put on the calendar to remind you that something is coming up or something is due or whatever. So this is important to know that it does show up on this report. I can then decide whether I want to order my report by type and then date. What that means is, am I going to do it all by event or task and then by date, or do I want to do it by the date and then have it break down by event or task? So that's important to decide which way you want to see it. And you can also start each date on a new page if you want. So, if you want a page for each day, you can do that. This down here is the key, I think, because this is where you can include those calendar comments, who the client is, and then the client work description. This helps you decide whose calendar entry it really is, who you're working on, what client is it, what's their description, because you might have 10 matters for this client. You want to know further, well, which one is it? Is it the divorce case? Is it, the real estate matter? What matter am I looking at? So these three checkboxes are also very important. So you can see there's not a lot of parameters here, but this is a very powerful report. So I'm going to back this up, and I'm going to say that I want this from, I don't know, August 1st through the 14th, because I really don't know what Ron has in his calendar since this is sample data. And I'm going to say OK, and I'm going to preview this. And so here I get a nice report where I know which client it is by ID, the due date, what day it is, the time, and then I have my description. Now over here is where I actually see the client name and the client work description. So this is where I'm finding out what client, I see the ID over here, but this is where it shows up for that client name and the description. Now I'm going to scroll down a little bit further to see if he has anything. So in this case, I did all of mine by type and then by date. So these are all my events, and then here's all my tasks. And I don't know that he has any others, so I'm going to look at someone else's calendar here real quick just to change it up here a little bit. And you can see it remembers my parameters even. So I'm going to come up here and use probably like Michael Jensen. He usually has a whole bunch of stuff in here, so let's find him. And it will remember whatever parameters you had before. So you can see my date range is still August 1st through then. So I'm going to preview this one. Let's see if he has any reminders or any comments in here. And of course not. I'm not going to, I'll just do everybody. That's a good idea. All right. And we'll just do everybody. So I'm going to go in and just do all users. Let's take a look. Somebody's bound to have some comments or something in here. And this will keep those comments, like in our system, Paul will ticket an event for me or a task for me to do, and he wants me to complete it. And in our comments, we'll go back and forth on some of the dialogue of things that we need to do. So I might have done something, and I might have put a comment in there that, yes, I got the email, yes, I did this, this, and this. And it will print those comments on here so that I can actually follow along on what's happened on that case. I have all of my notes in there. There might be some important information about a contact or someone that I need to know in those comments. And of course, nobody in here has comments. It's unbelievable. It's inconceivable. Oh my goodness. But we can put one in real quick and show you how that would show up, because I think that's important. So I'm just going to go back to a calendar entry, and I'm going to throw one in for today. Yeah, and I'm just going to put this in here as, well, I don't know if we have that in here, so let me just grab something. We'll just do this as a partner meeting, and I'm just going to type in here test, 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 just to get something in there. I'll put that in here. I can even put in a location, anything I want here. I'm going to save it. And do I have it on Michael Jensen? I do, so we'll go ahead and save that. So let's go out, and I'm also going to put a reminder in. Well, I guess, yeah, I can do that. We've got time, right? So I'm just going to put in here, and I'm going to put a closing date, and I'm going to put this in, and I'm just going to make this reminder, oh, on the 14th. Oh, we'll make it, yeah, the 14th. Okay, so I'm going to have this reminder that's going to show up on my calendar as well in the all-day area. So we're going to go ahead and save that. And now let's go back out to that daily report and do Michael Jensen. And we'll just do Michael LJ. And I'm going to do this from 11/1, because now I know I've got some events in here for him. And I'm going to say OK and preview. And now when we come in here, I'll see all of my events. And then here's my reminders. So there they are. And those probably were there, and I just didn't even pay attention. So there's my reminders. So anything I had with a reminder is there. And you see my test, test, test? My comments are down here. Then they might have had some in there too, Paul. But you know what? My comments, and I don't know about you guys, I'm sure it's going to be the same. Your comments aren't going to be just one line most of the time. They're going to be like several of the things that you need to remember for this particular event. Need to speak to so-and-so, blah, 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 whatever that is. So this is going to really be longer. I've had somewhere I'll have my entry, and then I'll have like a big block of my comments that show up of things that I want to do. When you print a record, if you just go in and print the calendar record and you see all of that information, you get a little more information than what you see here. This is just going to give you those comments and then who it is and the time, reminders, tasks, anything that you have on that. Nice short, sweet report. You can cross it off. You can even, you can see I can drill down into any of these from this report. So if I wanted to go into this appointment with Jim Peterson, let's say he canceled and needed to reschedule, I can go right in here and I can redo that right here. I can move it and put it where it needs to go and then refresh my report. And this is one thing a couple of my clients have done is they'll run this in the morning, and rather than print it, they make this like a usable document that they're going to be doing. So they just reduce it. They just throw it down here at the bottom. When they get back in, they've done that task, they've done whatever they want. They just pop this back open and they mark it complete, or they go in and they move it, or whatever they need to do, they can work on this right from here. So you have that drill down capability as well. So any questions on that, Leanne? No questions, Mary Jo. All right, I'm going to turn it over to Paul.
She sounded worldly when she said that, and humble at the same time. Okay, I am going to talk about something totally different, how to find the right client using the new search boxes. So if we go over here and we click on the list tab and get over here to where we're looking for a client, many people know, sorry, I'm moving something around here. Many people know that whatever you are sorting by, client name, work description, phone, whatever it is what you're going to search by. And so they've gotten used to the fact that they'll click on client ID to sort by that, and they'll type the client ID, or they'll click on name search or client name to sort by that, and they'll type it. But that's kind of cumbersome. And so in version 17, we got this box. Now, The first thing about the box that you'll notice when you come here to type is that you've got this one generic box. So if I type something in here, it's going to search all the fields that are showing in the column layout that I'm currently displaying. So if I wanted to search for Klein and typed it here, it would find it because it was there, but it would also find it because it was there. And if it were in the email address, it would find it because of that. So I can just type in something like Peterson, and it'll take me to all the Petersons, whether that word Peterson appears here or here or here or in any of the fields that are showing. But what's really cool is that I can also type Peterson here, and it's looking specifically for somebody with Peterson in the client name. If I clicked and typed, and I'm going to clear this out, if I clicked and typed Peterson here, it wouldn't find anything because the name Peterson does not appear in the phone field. This X here clears it out, and clicking back in here or clicking this down arrow, that's kind of like a toggle switch between whether or not you're seeing all these boxes and whether you're not, allows you to show the boxes. Now, you'll notice there are more fields in this column layout than what I'm seeing here. And that's because you control which of the fields that are in the column layout that you're currently operating on show. So if I was never going to search on phone, but perhaps I was going to search on salutation, or perhaps I was going to search on comments, I can add those fields to my search box so that when I drop down this little part here that's in the corner, I can search on those fields. And as you'll notice, these are just checked. If I wanted to take comments out, get that box out of there, I would just uncheck it, and comments would go away, check it again, and comments will come back. So I can say specifically, now I probably should have looked at this ahead of time, so we're going to very quickly scroll through here and look at some of these comments. Does anybody have comments? No. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to type pickles. Many of you who know me know that pickles is a very common search term for me, and through years of psychoanalysis we have yet to been able to figure why I am always looking for the word pickles, but it is a true fact that someday will appear in a game of Trivial Pursuit. So if I go here and type pickles in comments, I will go straight to the record that has the word pickles in comments. Okay? Very, very powerful. I mean, it's always been powerful to be able to search by client ID and name, but being able to, A, search any of the fields that are currently displayed for a certain word, or B, zero in on a specific field and search for it, that's very, very powerful. So you can have fields up here like if you were storing Social Security numbers, you could have Social Security number be something that you search on. You can search on client notes. You can search on city. You can search on state. You can do a lot of different things based on which column layout you have and what fields you've chosen to do. Now you'll notice when I search for pickles in the comments field that what it actually puts up here is comments : pickles. So if you were really kind of tricky and you knew how it worked, you could actually come here and simply type comments : pickles, and you could kind of circumvent even having to come in here and type this. But I don't tell you that so you'll come in here and type comments : pickles. Instead, I tell you that because this history button will allow you to see everything you've ever searched for, and that's where the name and nomenclature comes in. Here we searched the phone field for Peterson. Here we searched comments for pickles. Here we searched for Peterson in the box up here, and the name equals Peterson. I kind of got a little carried away. And so I can go back to searching phone for Peterson just by clicking that history record, and still we have no phones that have Peterson in it. And I can go back to searching for pickles in comments just by clicking on that history record, and now I'm searching and seeing the results of that. Very important to note that when you search for something for a very brief time, you will get this waiting, yellow, and I don't know if you saw it there, but there was a red that said searching. The waiting was waiting to submit the search to the server. The red was the time it took to search, to actually search, and if you have thousands of matters, hundreds of clients, maybe thousands of clients in tens of thousands of matters, it's going to take a little bit longer and be on red for a little bit longer while it's searching. So it's very important to understand that you have not gotten your results until you see the green. So just to show that again, if I go back to history and redo another search, bam, waiting, filtered. The green means it has found all the instances that it will find. And that, in a nutshell, is how to use this search box. And as I said, just in case there was any ambiguity, it's the column layout that you've chosen, and this is my client info column layout that has these fields that determine what fields you'll be able to search. Are there any questions on that, Leanne?
No questions, Paul.
Well, once again, we've either really explained this well or everybody's already fallen asleep. We hope it's the, what do we hope it is, the former or the latter? I've never really known, Mary Jo. I think it's the latter that we hope it is, but I could be wrong about that too. Well, enough about that. Next month in our Practice Master Virtual User Group meeting, try and say that 3 times, Practice Master Virtual User Group meeting, we will talk about converting the fee. We have the ability in Practice Master to take the things we do, journaling emails, calendar items, tasks, all sorts of things, and turn them into billing items right away, right from Practice Master. We'll talk about that. And we're also going to talk about the Tabs 3 Practice Master Sync, which is really usually something we set up for you. It's very easy. You just say, hey, sync these and make sure they stay in sync. But it's good to understand how it's done, and it's good to understand how you make sure that it's still in sync and what to do when it gets out of sync.
Hey, Paul.
Yes?
I have some late questions coming in.
Some late questions. Okay, shoot.
Yes, okay. The first question is from Patty, and she would like to know, can you use Boolean terms to find something in your search?
I do not believe so. But let's try. Let's go here. Let's go to a different mail. Let's clear this search result. Let's go to somebody that doesn't have pickles in their notes. And we will put in potatoes. Pickles and potatoes. Pickles or potatoes. And now we will go back over to list, saving as we go. And we will go here and we will search for pickles or potatoes. And the answer is no. It does not recognize, I didn't think so. It's not set up to do that. So no, there's no Boolean capabilities here. Let's try one more thing. And I know this won't work. I'm going to take out the or, but yeah. Of course we will if we take out the pickles. We will find potatoes, and if we take out potatoes and put in pickles, we will find pickles, but not both of them using Boolean or. Next question, Leanne?
Okay, the next question is, can you filter within the search field?
Well, you can apply a filter like active only or all, or one of the filters down here, and then search only those results. But I think if we apply a filter right now, well, that will keep my search term up there. And if we go to just RPA's clients and then switch instead to Pam's clients, we still have potatoes if we go to RPA's. Yes, if you're talking about applying these filters, or this is another type of filter, it will still hold on to this until you clear it out. So yes, the answer would be yes if that's what we're talking about. You can't go back here and search deeper from within these results. In other words, you can't find all the potatoes and get a dozen entries and then further search within that list of 12 potatoes for pickles. But yes, you can apply these sorts of filters if that's what you're talking about. Next question.
Actually, Patty has her hand up, and if she'd still like, she's going to expand on her previous question.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to unmute Patty.
Mary Jo, we've got somebody who's getting unmuted.
Get ready, Patty.
Patty.
Okay, you're unmuted. Go ahead, Patty. Oh, now she's, I guess she doesn't. Do you have
She put her hand down real quick?
No, she, sorry, Patty. Do you have a speaker on your computer? She doesn't have a speaker either, so I'm going to have to read Patty's question. Her follow-up question is, how about wild keys? For example, pat %sign for finding anything like
Don't think so, but let's do this. Like that, this is another wild card, the asterisk. That would mean anything that starts with POT and no. No, it really is going to look for a word. It's not a Boolean-oriented search. It's not going to do the wild cards like the %sign or the asterisk. It's not going to do the Boolean or the Boolean and.
Yeah, I think, Patty, just think of this as a quick search. I mean, if you want to do that kind of thing, you would actually build a filter.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is just a quick search. You're just trying to find something, so you don't have to click on the columns and do that. You're just trying to get a little more
When you get into filtering, you can do things like, left 3 characters equals POT, or if you go into the conflict of interest search and you wanted to find all the clients, and I'm not going to uncheck all of these, but we'll pretend I unchecked all of these, so the only one checked was client. And then we put in POT up here, looking for potato or potato or or whatever starts with POT. Then we want to match partial word start with, and that would find it. It's a little more convoluted, depending on what your need is, what you're looking for. This is really just looking for whole words. More questions?
That was it.
That was it. Okay. So, yeah, next month, Practice Master, Convert to Fee, and T3, Tabs 3, Practice Master Sync. In case you're interested, next month in the Tabs 3 virtual user group meeting, it's the account info that's available now in its own little tab in General Ledger, and the recap of hours report in Tabs. Now, while I have your attention, if you want to know what that topic is for the next month, once we get it posted, you can always go to our website, Attorney Computer Systems, and I emphasize the S at the end of systems, attorneycomputersystems.com. And when you get there, you will find on the left-hand side that we have all of our water cooler virtual user group meetings listed here, tabs, Practice Master, and World Docs. You'll also find some of our other content, the Coffee Pot webinars that we give every month. Mary Jo records 3 eByte videos, one on Practice Master, one on Tabs, one on World Docs every month. And we have this thing called the Paul and Mary Jo Show, which is a TV show format where we take a topic and expand upon it in great detail. If you wanted to know what next month's Practice Master virtual user group meeting was, once we post it, which we will do pretty soon after today, which is what you see advertised here, you can come here and see that. You can register for it by clicking the link. And, of course, if you scroll down, you will find all of our recorded content, and we go back as far as 3-4 years on some of this stuff listed underneath, and you are welcome to come here and view these videos to your heart's content. So with that, I will bid adieu. Everyone have a good rest of the afternoon, a good rest of the month, and we will see you in October